Okay, so we're leaving the car park. We've got a stop line here. Car's stopped for that. I'd imagine it's going to do a creep out, which I would do. Yeah, great work. And then I believe we're going to be heading down to a major road down this direction to get home. So travelling along in FSD 14.35 in Sydney, in the northern suburbs, coming up basically smack in the middle of peak hour. So there'll be a few other cars around. Car's doing really well here. Alignment on the road's really good. It's quite smooth. Version 14.35 of FSD. I think 14.33 was also excellent in suburban driving. So 14.35, just carrying on with that, really. We've got new visualizations for speed cameras here, of which there's a couple on our route, so that's kind of helpful to us as well. I've got Waze running here as well, so I know what's happening. Got a pretty busy road that we're about to pull onto here, so I'm kind of having a good old look and manning the brake, but the car's done really well there into the left lane. And straight up to speed up the hill, which is good. We're in hurry mode, which is pretty much my default driving mode in FSD. Not noticing a huge amount of change from 14.33. Perhaps a little bit off the top speed, but otherwise it's reasonably similar. Hurry mode in Australia seems to be very depowered compared to other markets. So I'm hoping as FSD gets more mature in Australia that it gets a bit more hurry about it, but for now, I'm happy enough that the thing's self-driving, which is pretty cool. We've got the speed camera warning, so that's coming up.
Speed and red light camera ahead.
Waze has picked that up too. We're coming up to a red light, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for us at all. We're in the right lane here. Just as a local who drives this route a lot, you can get right turners here. But from a, FSD point of view, it was the shorter lane, so I'm glad that it went there. I've only had the car for about, 2 months now, so I put a lot of Ks on it. Really enjoying it. Prior car was a Mercedes, a little hot hatch, a little AMG 45S. And funnily enough, although this is such a big car, their 0 to 100 times are about the same. So this is the MY performance model. So yeah, I really feel like I haven't lost out on too much by changing over to an EV. And a lot more space. I've been able to travel with it, go on family holidays and things, heaps of cargo space. So yeah, really pleased being a new EV and SUV driver. Lane of alignment there is pretty good. Just keeping an eye on that other car as we go past there. Speed's okay. I'd like a bit more wriggle on perhaps in hurry, but this is sort of where we're at in Australia. It's pretty much a fixed 5 over. Let me get across there because let's see if it will go back now. Yeah, so a bit of an intervention there. There was a right turner. I perhaps should have waited for the car to actually see that and respond to it, but It is supervised driving, so quite happy to slap the indicator every now and then, just to give the car a bit of guidance. Beautiful sunset developing there. Got BYD here. Car's going to let him in, I hope. Yep. Yeah, well done, car. I think maybe the BYD driver was questioning for a second whether he was going to, or she was going to get let in, but the car did the right thing there. Another speed camera coming up down the bottom here. I think the follow distance is around about the same, maybe a little bit longer in 14.35 than 14.33. And this kind of traffic, this speed, I'd probably be a bit closer up. I mean, not that it would actually get me any further ahead, but that's just a preference thing from a driving style point of view. But where 14.33 wasn't great was at higher speeds with follow speeds. I had to drive through the state, and 110 k's an hour and 100k an hour zones, the follow speed in hurry was pretty close, and too close even for me, and I'm a reasonably fast following driver, so there seems to have been some tweaks there. We're not going to get any further ahead being close to this guy at the moment anyway, but I would be a bit closer, and I would be sort of stepping on the speed a little bit more now as the car's starting to do. Another Model Y. Bus up ahead getting across. Yeah, follow distance here is about right. I'd probably be gunning up a bit behind the BYD to get in front of the bus, but perfectly valid what it's doing at the moment.
Left lane blocked ahead.
That's my Waze, not the Tesla. So I think there's some. What's it going to do here? This bus is going to have to get over. Good, the car's going past, so that's good. We managed to get by him, which is great. We're in a 60 zone. It's sort of hanging back a little. I wouldn't exactly call it hurry at the moment, but it's just sort of, this feels very much like standard at the moment. There is a lane that's free now on the left-hand side. But FSD is not particularly interested in that lane at the moment. Straight through the roundabout. Yeah, doing the exit indicate as well. I personally wouldn't do that exit indicate
Left
there.
lane blocked ahead.
Okay, thanks, Waze. I personally wouldn't do that exit indicate on that roundabout. No, as you can see, the car in front of me did. The car didn't. The car behind me didn't either. No one really does that in that sort of scenario in Sydney, but I guess technically it's the right thing to do, so can't really mark the car down for doing that. Where it does get a little weird is when you have single lane roundabouts and you're going straight and it's indicating left to exit those, then people actually do start to get a bit confused because they
Left lane blocked ahead.
tend to think that you're turning left, especially if the indicator to exit the roundabout comes on a bit early as you're going straight. So into some kind of roadwork zone here. Got a 40 sign down there. I don't know that the car will pick that up, to be honest. Oh no, it did. Yeah, wow, did really well there. Picked up the sign on the ground for the 40 zone. I wonder whether it flicks back to 60
Roadworks reported ahead.
when it sees this sign. Yeah, it did. Yeah, really well done, car. That's very good. Right, bit of hesitation there. It did a bit of a double pump. I would have tended to have gone there, but it did the right thing. No one was in any danger. It was just a little bit of a moment of hesitation for the car. But you get that, people fly into roundabouts. I tend to just sort of step on it, but the car, is probably being a bit more cautious than that, given that it's autonomous. There's a left lane option here. Both these lanes go straight. The car looks like it's happy to sit in the right lane at the moment. Range Rover taking the four-wheel drive route to the right lane. Range Rover, I should say. I'm sure a Ranger would do the same thing in that scenario. Yes, the car's done really well so far. Only thing of note really is that I've had to sort of indicate on the odd occasion, but probably didn't have to. That was just a preference thing. Possibly the lane selection. It seems to be finding the left lane a little bit less perhaps than the last version of FSD. We had a left lane reasonably clear here. We've got merging traffic here as well. I'm actually going to get that over because we've got a perfectly good lane here. So yeah, if anything, maybe it's sitting a bit right lane happy at the moment. I don't know whether that's in reaction to criticism that it's had with version 14.3.3, where it was, not for me, but for some people, they were complaining that it was changing lanes a lot. I don't know. I think that if you've got lanes available, you should use them, and particularly in this type of kind of suburban, 60 kilometre to 80 kilometre an hour type of traffic. In a place like Sydney, you need to use all the lanes. It's perfectly legal in New South Wales and Sydney to undertake under 80 kilometres an hour and under, so you should be doing it. If it's within the rules and there's a lane available, you should definitely be changing lanes to get the best route possible. Yeah, lane alignment's just about perfect here, which is great. Follow distance is really good as well. Hard to gauge Hurry's kind of speed here because we're just following along in traffic. But shortly we'll be turning off and getting into a 50 zone. There's probably more traffic and probably reasonably busy local shopping area at about 20 past 5 in the afternoon. Okay, so yeah, perfect. Car knows where it's going. And it's getting very close to sort of human driving levels. The only, I guess, couple of scenarios where it's sort of not is, well, depending on the human, but parking is one. It's still not a great parker. I've had other cars for years that have been parking automatically really well without any sort of AI or anything like that. And Tesla's parking is not the greatest. It does an okay job with parallel parking on the street, but for some reason, and you think it's an easier scenario, but for some reason it's car park parking is just very hit and miss. Sometimes you'll get a perfect park, sometimes you'll be sort of up against one line or the other, and other times it will just go straight into two parks and basically straddle a line. So there is a right of way thing here where we could have crept forward and turned right. The car actually didn't go for that. I would have done that as a manual driver. If I'd been paying more attention to, I might have actually crept the car ahead to do that. So that's just an unprotected right. You creep out, and then when the light turns red for the other direction, you've got a chance to turn right. And you can only do that on a green when there's no red arrow, but people do that a lot in Sydney, and people are pretty chilled around here. But in other scenarios, the person behind you would be a bit annoyed if you weren't going for that option in traffic. So it was interesting that the car didn't really try that. But again, I guess that's probably on the advanced end of driving, and there's a lot of people that just don't do that at all because they're not confident enough to actually do that. Yeah, it came pretty wide around that corner there, but there's plenty of room. There's plenty of people that would do that as well. So we're now in a 50 zone. The car hasn't picked that up yet. But nonetheless, it looks like it's behaving like it's in a 50 zone anyway. So there seems to be a bit of a disconnect between what the car displays here, which is, from what I've experienced, what it's seeing from signs, and what the car actually does, which seems primarily based on navigation. So they're almost like two separate systems a bit at the moment, where I think the speed zone data from the maps is kind of like the law to the car, and then the visual stuff seems to be mostly about display. At least that's my impression of it at the moment. I could be wrong there. So with FSD 14.3.5 in peak, suburban peak, I guess, through the local shopping centre, heading up to a charger, two buses trying to slide by each other, car's happy to tag along, and happy to create the space there to do it by driving on the double lines, which is good. Exactly what a human would do. Yeah, so FSD 14.3.5, very confident. It's been intervention free, pretty much. I think I've done a couple of indicates. There was one slight hesitation on a roundabout where the car was in two minds about whether to go or not. I might have just stepped on it and gone, but the car erred on the side of caution, which is absolutely fine. Bus has gone off ahead here. We are in hurry, so I would say at 52 this is very much standard behaviour from 14.3.3. If I was driving by myself, I wouldn't be on the bus's bumper, but I would probably be a bit further ahead in traffic, on the road. Not in traffic, but just further up the road. Yeah, it's up to 55 there now. So we're going to be pulling into a car park here, and going for a charger. That bus is booking it, which is good. Tesla in hurry mode, not so much. Yeah, good turn in there. This is a sports complex. There's 2 chargers up here, which is a yellow spot, so we'll see how the car does for parking. Got a Range Rover parked in one. That's a funny looking EV. Yeah, car doing really well here. It seems to do better when there's cars on either side of it. It's like that actually helps with its parking. Whereas if this place is just empty, it seems to struggle more to actually find the park. And if we were going to charge, that would be a pretty good park for it. Let's have a look. Yeah, a little bit to one side, but it's pretty much balanced between the cars there. So yeah, I can't really fault that. It's probably a little bit out, but other than that, I mean, that's perfectly reasonable. So, what are we going to do? Let's go to our next destination. So, I'm going to, which way does it want to go? I don't really want to go that way. So, you know what? That'll be fine. Let's start self-driving. So, we've just engaged self-driving. Again, we're not going. So I'm going to have to tap the pedal here to get the car going. It's like it's sort of waiting for the okay to go ahead. I'm not in love with that behaviour, to be honest. But the car's done a reasonably good job there. We're just going to head back down this way and probably wrap up the video. Plenty of room here for the car to go straight out, as it does. Yeah, really good. Pretty easy run in the suburbs today. 14.35 looks pretty good. Hurry's a little bit slower. No real interventions there, just a couple of preference things. One bit of roundabout hesitation, but that's just driving really. So anyway guys, catch you next time. Bye bye.